Hey everybody, see me, C3 out here at Uncle Danny's house. We are gonna take on a project today. I told you there was things coming up, and this is the project for today. I told you I have, well, what do you mean I told you? You've seen it in other videos if you watch my channel. The Chevy K1500. This is a 1995 model. And to me, it has a lot of sentimental value. When my father passed away a couple years ago, this was the last vehicle that we had some really good talks in. We were working on some houses at the time, and it really helped me build a lot of projects that we had going at the time. And also, it's helped me still to this day with a lot of the projects. I mean, everybody needs a truck. Today, we're gonna take on a few things. We're gonna put on a new distributor right from China. I mean, you know, it is what it is. But we're putting on the new distributor. We are also going to put on a new ignition coil, and we're gonna change the thermostat. So quite a few projects all on the top end. We're gonna dig into them. Danny is eating his breakfast right now, so he'll be down here in a little bit. Let's talk a little bit about this truck though. So the Chevy K1500 here. This became the Chevy Silverado, which everybody still knows and loves. It had a 5.7 liter, 350 cubic inch engine that put out a whopping about 200 horsepower at the time. Yeah, it's not the fastest thing, but it's got a lot of torque and it is a workhorse. You will see a lot of these still on the road because they tend to just keep going. And I've been working on this thing little by little and getting it to a better place, and it is slowly getting there. Every car guy knows car parts are expensive. So, you know, we have some weight reduction here, and hopefully we're gonna get that fixed soon too. A lot of projects, but let's get started with the distributor today. Hopefully Uncle Danny is done with his breakfast, and then we can get on to all the other things, ignition and changing out the thermostat housing, thermostat, blah, blah, blah. I hope you enjoy. These are the items that we're gonna be using today, and what we're gonna be doing, like I told you, is the distributor. Yes, from Amazonia, and originally from China. We'll hope it works. We got a Delphi Technologies ignition coil, some genuine GM parts, which is our thermostat, our Velcro gasket, some sealer, some gloves, and of course some antifreeze. We're still waiting on Danny though. Uncle Danny, come on. All right, so we're finally taking on the project here of the distributor. Danny, why don't you tell us what we're going to start off with here?
First of all, I disconnected the coil wire from the coil. Get ready to take the cap off and try to move it out of the way, leave the wires hooked up to it. So we just transfer them over to the new cap. When I get the cap off, I want to see which way the rotor's pointing. Hopefully it's pointing to number one cylinder, which is where it should be pointing if it's set right.
Which is up here for everybody that doesn't know. It's way in the front here. It's the first one over here.
Driver's side of the front cylinder. Because I believe these are measured 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Because Ford is all on sequential on each side. Chevy's
opposite.
It jumps across.
Gotcha.
But yeah, even if it's not pointing at number one, we're okay as long as we mark where the rotor is pointing and where the distributor body is pointing, how it's oriented, and maintain that. And
we can even use like a stick and make a mark on the engine bay somewhere to make sure that
Yeah, you pick something to use as an index and mark what it's supposed to be, what it's pointing at the time. because what you have to watch out for is you have to make sure the distributor body is turned in the right direction and the rotor's pointing in the correct firing position. As long as we don't move that or turn the motor, we should be good because it was running fine when it pulled in. So it's on the right mark. And then the third thing is you have to make sure your oil pump drive is lined up properly, which it should be, as long as you don't turn anything taking it out. Because the new one should go right back in when it's clocked right. When we clock it the same as this coming out. But when you don't have your toolbox in the new shop yet, you know.
We're working on it, right, Danny?
Yeah.
Hey, we got one tray over here, one mechanic tray over here, rolling tray.
Yeah, that is so small. Probably gonna have to try to go find my 6mm or even the 5. I don't remember what size it is. So I have to go get a tool.
Danny says he finally found the right one. What was it, Danny?
7/32.
7/32. See, I mean, you know, you just gotta keep fiddling around sometimes till you find the right one.
Unless you do a whole lot of them, then you already know.
Yeah.
We get another one of these tomorrow, we already know.
Or you watch our video and then you'll know what it is, which that always helps too.
This one a little bit more.
And there's the cap.
You see which way the rotor's pointing right now?
Yeah, and it's and not in our dead center, I'll tell you that much, but.
Well, see if you line it up.
Yep. We got a marker or something, we can make a mark on that bar there.
Yeah, see, it's aimed at this shoulder of this carburetor here. But we'll mark it anyway so we won't say, well, what was that spot?
Okay, so what do we got going on now, Danny? We got the cap off, right?
Yeah.
We got our line made now.
Because right now, the coil's pointing this way.
And I know we made a mark.
Yeah, and then this connector. See if we can make a mark where the connector's pointing. Or we'll line the base up with the screw. And then the marker. Okay. Now, take the rope loose and clamp.
And then we get to see how this sucker comes on out. So now, after we finally found our tools again, we are loosening the distributor clamp there so we can finally take that thing out. And he's got that nice handy dandy tool. Got the clamp off.
Distributor off. We marked where the rotor's pointing. We marked where the distributor's pointing. And all the things are disconnected, so we're getting ready to lift it out.
Do we have the back connect? There's one connector still connected to the back there, Danny.
Oh,
it's got a clip that goes up, yep. Oh, yep, there we go.
I thought I had that off.
That's all right. I saw it from this angle.
See how it turns as it's coming out?
Yep.
It's from the helical gear cut
Yep.
on the end of the drive shaft.
Okay, so that's probably an original OG Chevy part. Oh, you all right, bud?
Yeah.
Working on cars is dangerous, guys. I don't know if you know this. You see what I mean? But
seal here, you can see it's wet up above it a little bit, so it wasn't too bad, but it was seeping.
yeah,
And of course, this is where your ignition module is. If you ever have to change it, take these two bolts out, and then pull it out, set the new one in. Of course, you have to put, it's plugged in right here on the side with this white plug.
yeah.
Very simple.
Very simple
Very simple
change.
ignition. This is what
Cool.
I have in my Galaxy pretty much with my Pertronics.
Right now we're removing the ignition coil. We're gonna see here in a minute, we'll get a close-up of the ignition coil of how we're gonna take this bracket off and replace it with the bracket that they gave us with the kit. Once we get these screws out, and you know how it goes. Always in a tight spot. So we'll be back in a second. Well, Danny's grinding down on our ignition coil bracket. We need to take these. What kind of screws would you say they were, Danny? They're just like a.
These here?
Yeah.
They're like a long rivet.
Like a rivet type that we have to grind them out. Yep.
Grind the head off or drill them off.
So we'll get back to action here in a minute. Putting on that bracket, slapping that back in, then getting the distributor in, hooking up some spark plugs, and I don't know if we'll get today to the coolant system. We're running out of the daylights, but we'll get there.
Well, what's hard is that.
And he was just showing me here.
Yeah, when you grind these off, as carefully as you can, you can tell when you got to where you need to be, when you could see the difference in metal. You could actually see the circle of the inside diameter of the pin, you know, the actual size of the pin. We got the pinned over part ground off. See, you can tell there's a distinct difference. Now you can just punch them out.
Locker.
Some people put the flat, then a lock washer, and then the nut all on one end, but the lock washer doesn't lock onto anything because it's on the flat washer. The idea of the lock washer is to bite against the piece so the nut doesn't turn.
Actually, really good engine.
All right, so we got our distributor dropped in now. Danny, he was just explaining that how we're clocking it.
If you watch the rotor, I made a mark here and it's aimed where I wanted it. And then this is aimed over there where I wanted it. And the distributor's down in there. But is it dropped all the way down? I don't think it is. It's hard to see. But if I pull it up, you'll see the rotor turn backwards.
Yes.
See that?
Yep. That means it should be sliding in if it's turning that.
Well, what's happening is that washer, the gasket is in the way, not letting it go down past the last bevel.
That little paper?
Right. That's why I was saying you need to dab it
Okay.
and get it to stay on.
I should have put more on it then.
It's on it. Oh, it was on it. Turn it back to about there. When it drops in, it should turn and face.
That way.
And it wouldn't go all the way down if it wasn't lined up, because it wouldn't. Oh, we're 180 out. See that? I was looking at this piece.
Yep, you're all right. We got to go off the other side. You're right.
But this is good to show you because that's how easy it is to get it 180 out. Because a Chevy, you can get 180 out with it dropped all the way down because of the oil pump drive. So Ford, you can get it out any degree, as long as it's within the degrees of the hex. Gotta go back one more tooth. See, it's not aimed right.
No.
That means our oil pump got turned. And what you have to do there is you have to reach down there with a long screwdriver and turn it the distance you need to turn it, because if we could try to drop it in the way it's supposed to go to line up in time, see, fooling with it, we got it to turn, and it's turned out of place. So now we got to take it out, set it aside. Then we have to look down in there at the oil pump drive If I can even see it. I'm using a long screwdriver to turn it back in line.
Well, that was a little problem, and we had to take care of that. By the way, Brian stopped by, and we stood around the truck some and watched Danny go ahead and fish around there with a screwdriver and turn the oil pump key so that it would then let the distributor drop back in time the way we had it clocked originally. So, yeah, as you can see, just a bunch of guys hanging out around a truck. Good times. Oh.
Yeah, we run into a little problem because demonstrating taking the distributor out and showing how you clock it, we bumped the drive in the oil pump where it was out of sync. Didn't have a good enough light to be able to look down in there and see it for sure, so I had to use a screwdriver and feel it and turn it back far enough where it finally dropped in when we needed it.
Yep.
You can get it set if you're sure that's the right spot and just bump the motor over till it falls in. But I didn't want to take the chance on losing our timing position. Otherwise, you have to go through the checking number one top dead center and making sure the rotor's pointing correctly.
Yeah.
And, you know.
Well, we're going to start it up. We're going to get some tools off here in a second. We'll start her up and see how she goes. So we got Uncle Danny some presents.
Is this a flag?
Open it up.
British car flag? No? American car flag. Ford Racing. Yeah, I like that.
I thought it would look good in the shop.
Yes, sir.
Huh?
I'm going to hang it from the rafter.
So what I was thinking, though, can I get a Chevy flag to put by?
A little. It could hang behind the Ford. Oh, that's nice. I like that.
Yeah, man. I thought you would like that.
Feel like good material there.
I thought we'd hang it in the shop, start decorating for you.
Yeah.
And then also, the other thing is a tool that we were needing the other day. So I decided, hey, just go ahead and get it, and we'll leave it over here and let Danny fool around with it. He's got a lot more times where he needs this probably than I would need it, because I don't get into a whole lot of... But I do tell you that it is handy to find leaks that we found out the other day in one of my videos with the Mini. So...
A lens or a hook.
It's a hook, yeah, to catch things. It's pretty cool, huh?
Oh, so you could fish something out.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's handy. It's got a little magnet on the end.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, come.
So we'll let Uncle Danny play with that a little bit. I hope he enjoys it. All right, so we're putting our spark plug wires back on. Danny did change his hat because it's a different day. We ran out of time yesterday. That's how it goes sometimes, you know. It got dark, got cold, and all that jazz.
This should be number 4.
Started right up. We're setting up right now to check the timing the correct way, make sure our distributor cap is set in the right spot. We didn't get to do this the other day. It was running pretty good, right? We thought it's probably pretty close, but the real way to do it, Uncle Danny already got in the cab there and went underneath the glove box where you have to disconnect the computer so it doesn't retard itself. Is that what it does, Danny?
Well, it controls your timing advance. So you want to disconnect that, just like on the old cars where you would disconnect the advanced vacuum line to the distributor, because that doesn't pull vacuum while it's idling, but when you rev up, it pulls a vacuum. That's advances your point style distributor. This is electronically controlled, and that wire is available to easily get to disconnect the electronic idle advance or advanced timing, so you can time without advance. You don't want to time with advance. You always want your advance disabled. So that's what that does. It disables the advance on your spark. So now we can get we'll be able to get a true reading that way.
So far he's got a lead down here that gets connected to spark plug number 1. That's going to tell us, so we know when that spark
This is an induction hookup. It creates the spark going through, excites it with a magnetic field. And there's an arrow on those that point one direction or another. You want to make sure that arrow is pointed to the spark plug on that clip.
And we get to try out our new borescope. Danny's, he's always got the women calling him, so, don't worry about that. That we need to see. And there you go. If you see in the borescope camera, Danny just had it there a second ago. Now you can see the mark.
See it?
Yeah. So that's what we have to use to go off of there.
And my 67-year-old trimmer hand.
Yeah, that too. You just need a drink, buddy. All right, I'm gonna throw in a new PCV valve, guys. This is something that should be done probably around every 3,000, 5,000 miles. What would you say? Danny?
I say do it
Every oil change?
oil change.
A lot of people neglect to do this, and this is a very important part for your engine. It's going to, whatever, how does that work, Danny?
What's that?
The PCV valve, it's letting that oil that's gotten, it's
Well,
evaporating it through the...
in any internal combustion engine, you're going to have vapors,
Right.
case vapors, that are created because the pistons are shoving down compression as much as they are pushing up. And the vapors used to be just piped out down below the engine. It just went out close to the road and vapor in the air. So the PCV valve, what it does, it sucks those fumes out of the engine and burns it back through the vacuum system of the carburetor or drop box of the intake system. So you don't have that tube hanging down anymore. All your vapors should be pulled up through that PCV.
So I got under the truck and did a quick oil change to just kind of round off some of the other things we did. Never got to the thermostat because the thermostat housing, one of the bolts was really, really tight, and we didn't want to go ahead and break a bolt off, so we are soaking it with some penetrating oils, and we're going to get back to that here soon. It's been one, hasn't it, on this?
Yeah.
Couple days working on the truck, guys, and we're still got some little tinkering things to do, and anybody that's worked on cars knows that there's always tinkering to do. But we got most of it buttoned up. We didn't get to do the thermostat yet, but we will do that. Maybe we'll record it, maybe not. If you guys don't know how to do a thermostat, let us know. We can record that as well. But we do got the distributor in, the new ignition coil. We did an oil change, and we put on a new PCV valve. So we did quite a bit, didn't we, Danny, in the last?
Well, yeah.
I mean, little things caught us up, and we're moving his shop right now. So that's been probably the biggest hurdle for us is
Yeah, that
taking
took a little
tools.
time moving
Yeah.
the toolbox,
Yeah.
taking the drawers out, carrying them over.
So,
Put it
guys,
back again.
we appreciate you so much. You know, like and subscribe. We can't fix everything. We can fix these old cars. We'll see you soon. Thank you so much.
See you.